Have you ever looked at someone and wondered, how did their whole life flip from struggling to shining? I had that moment yesterday, just sitting quietly, thinking about people who start from a tough place and somehow climb their way into something bigger, brighter, and better. And you can't help but ask yourself, are they just lucky? Or are they doing something the rest of us haven't figured out yet? That little question, it hits deep, because you see people transform their lives, and you wonder why you still feel stuck in the same spot. If you want English to stop being a problem in your life, subscribe, like, and share this, and don't miss what comes next. Take a slow breath, because we're about to walk into that truth together. Hey, my friend, I'm Mia. This is your safe, warm space to learn English slowly, gently, with real understanding. But it's also your space to grow into a stronger version of yourself, one small step at a time. Today's topic? It's way bigger than English. It's about understanding why some people change everything about their lives, while others stay trapped in the same cycle year after year. And what I discovered might surprise you. Yesterday, I was thinking back to when I first started learning English myself. Honestly, it felt impossible. So many new sounds, so many rules, so many moments where she thought, this is too much. But little by little, it started to click. Slow growth, tiny progress, small shifts in the way I thought. And that's when it hit me. Life works the same way. Big transformations don't come from big dramatic moments. They grow out of tiny habits, tiny changes, tiny choices you make every single day. As I was reflecting on that, something else hit me hard. People struggle to change, not because they're weak, but because change is uncomfortable. It scares us. It exposes our fears. And it forces us to confront ourselves in ways we're not always ready for. Let's be real for a second. Why do so many people stay stuck? Well, fear of failure is a huge one. What if I try and fail? But flip that sentence. What if you try and succeed? Every successful person has failed. What makes them different is they didn't stop. Another thing that holds people back? Not knowing where to start. Some people want a better life, but they freeze because they think they need a perfect plan. But trust me, the perfect moment never comes. The perfect plan doesn't exist. And then there's the voice in your head, the soft, painful whisper that says, I'll never be good at this, or I'm just not a language person. That voice can destroy dreams before they begin. But here's one of the biggest traps of all. Waiting for motivation. People say, I'll start when I feel ready. But motivation doesn't show up before you act. It shows up after you start. You move first, and motivation follows. That's the secret nobody talks about. I remember facing my own challenge once, something personal, something heavy. I kept waiting for the right moment, the perfect mood, the magical spark. But nothing changed until I finally took one small step. Just one. And once I did, everything slowly started falling into place. And honestly, it was the same with English. At first, I kept thinking, I'm not good at this. But deep down, I knew the truth. The only way to get better was to show up, practice, and keep going, even when I felt unsure. So here's the first big lesson of today. You can't change your life until you understand what's holding you back. Once you see your barriers clearly, you can start breaking them. Piece by piece, choice by choice, day by day. Pause for a moment and ask yourself this gentle question. What has been holding me back lately? Just notice it. Awareness is your first step. We'll talk about the small, powerful actions that actually create real change in your life, even when everything feels hard. Stay with me. This next part is where things get real. Now that we've uncovered what holds people back, the next big question rises quietly inside us. How do you actually begin changing your life? Most people imagine a huge transformation, one big moment that magically turns everything around. But real change? Real long-lasting transformation? It begins slowly, gently, almost invisibly. It begins with tiny improvements. You repeat every single day. And trust me, these tiny changes can reshape your entire world. Let me share something simple but powerful with you. Something called the 1% rule. If you grow just 1% every day, just a tiny step forward, you eventually become 37 times stronger, smarter, and more capable in 1 year. That's not magic. It's math. Small actions stack up. They build on each other, like interest in a bank account. Little efforts compound into big results if you stay consistent. And that brings us to the power of habits. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, explains how habits shape your identity. Small changes don't feel dramatic at first, but over time they silently redefine who you are. And that's how real growth works. Small actions, big identity shift. Think of tiny routines like reading for 10 minutes, practicing English for just 5, or catching one negative thought and replacing it with something positive. Even the smallest habit can change the entire direction of your life. I once knew someone who became fluent in English simply by listening to podcasts every day. No strict schedules, no heavy textbooks, just consistent exposure. That little daily habit transformed their confidence completely. So, here's the truth you need to hear today. Small, consistent actions create massive change. If you're wondering where to start, just choose one tiny habit today. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. But let's go deeper, because action is powerful. But something even more important sits beneath it. Your mindset. How you think about change shapes everything. There's something called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, you believe, I can improve. With a fixed mindset, you say, I'll never be good at this. One belief opens doors, the other locks them shut. And here's where your brain plays a huge role. Inside your mind is a tiny system called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It filters information based on what you focus on. That's why, when you learn a new word, suddenly, you hear it everywhere. Your brain notices more of what you tell it to look for. So if you say, I can't do this, your brain finds proof that you can't. But if you say, I'm getting better every day, your brain begins to search for your progress instead. It's wild how powerful that shift is. Reprogramming your mind isn't magic, it's training. 3 beautiful tools help you do that. Affirmations, visualization, and gratitude. Affirmations are simple phrases like, I am improving every day. Visualization is imagining yourself succeeding, seeing your future self clearly. And gratitude trains your brain to notice what's going well instead of what's missing. These 3 practices slowly build a mindset that works for you, not against you, but something else. Stops people from starting. They believe. They must feel perfectly ready. You've probably felt this too. Waiting for the right moment, the ideal mood, the perfect level of confidence. But truth time, you will never feel completely ready. Key. Progress creates confidence, not the other way around. When I was learning English, I waited and waited because I didn't want to make mistakes. But the more I waited, the scarier it felt. And once I finally spoke, mistakes and all, I realized those errors weren't failures. They were stepping stones. Every imperfect conversation made me more confident. There's a phrase I love: done is better than perfect, because perfection stops more dreams than failure ever will. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll delay your life forever. Just begin. A tiny start is enough. Here's a gentle challenge. Think of one thing you've been postponing, maybe practicing English, starting a routine, or reaching out for help. Now take one small step today, because action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Another truth I want you to hold close. Your environment influences you more than you realize. Your habits, your decisions, your energy, they're shaped by what and who you surround yourself with. There's a famous saying: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by negativity, it's hard to stay motivated. But if your environment is filled with positive, driven, goal-focused people, their energy rubs off on you. So, start following people who inspire you. Authors, speakers, creators, even meaningful accounts online. Little by little, the content you consume will shape the way you think. And joining online learning communities is another powerful way to stay motivated, whether it's English groups, book circles, or personal growth communities. Surround yourself with people who help you grow. Choose one tiny habit today, just one, and commit to doing it for 5 minutes. That small step is your beginning. We'll explore how your environment shapes your success and how to design a life that pushes you forward instead of holding you back. You don't want to miss this. When you become part of a community that truly values growth, something beautiful happens. You start growing without even realizing it. Your energy shifts. Your habits shift. Your mindset shifts. Because when you're surrounded by people who want to get better, their momentum naturally pulls you forward. It's like being carried by a soft current in the right direction. But just as important as adding positive influences is reducing the negative ones. Sometimes it means gently limiting time with people who constantly complain, criticize, or drain your energy. Other times, it means cutting down on negative news or social media that quietly fills your mind with stress. Take a soft breath, because your peace matters. This reminds me of something deeply personal from my own English learning journey. There was a time when I felt completely stuck, like my growth had frozen. Then everything changed when I joined an English learning community. Suddenly, I had people to practice with, people who understood my struggles, people who celebrated even my tiny wins. And that support, it changed everything for me. Sometimes the right people create the momentum you've been missing. So, pause with me for a second and ask yourself something honest. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they pushing you gently toward your goals or keeping you in the same place? Your environment shapes your growth more than you realize. If the people around you don't inspire you, it may be time to make small adjustments. Surround yourself with people and influences that light you up, motivate you, and help you become the version of yourself you dream of becoming. And speaking of inspiration, One of the most powerful ways to grow is through language. Learning new words and phrases helps you describe your goals, your mindset, your emotions, and your journey in clearer, more confident ways. So let's break down a few key vocabulary words from today's ideas, gently and simply. Words about change, like transformation, shift, and momentum, help you talk about personal growth. Words about mindset, like affirmations, visualization, and growth mindset, help you express how you think and feel. Words about environment, like influence, community, and surroundings, help you describe the world shaping your choices. And the best part? These words don't just help you learn English, they help you understand yourself better. You can use them in real conversations about your life, your goals, and your future. Now, as we wrap up this episode, let me leave you with one powerful truth. You have far more control over your life than you think. Small habits, a strong mindset, and the right environment can completely transform your life over time. Progress doesn't happen in one night, but every step you take moves you closer to the life you want. Every little action matters. Every mindset shift helps. Every positive influence counts. Before we end, I'd love to hear from you. What's one small change you're choosing today? Tell me. Your voice matters here. If this video touched your heart, take a moment to subscribe, share, or leave a kind review. It helps our little community grow, and it helps other learners feel brave enough to start. If you want to keep growing, right now, tap the I button video and watch the video. It's the perfect for you. You're gonna love it. Stay close.